Well, Poleman will be taken. Oh, actually, Poleman, as I'm talking now, goes into the pits. That is going to be Yaku Lambert in the Jetta. And I hope there's not any particular problem over there. It doesn't look like he's going any further than his pit box. However, here comes Gunther Appelgrein, who finished second in race 1. Had a chat to him at lunch. Also did the Gymkhana last week in his Mark 1 Golf. And he will pull into second position in that class. There's Robert Toscano will be right behind him in the Mazda. Natasha Tischendorf in her CLI Jetta. And then there is the 928 of Kuni Mattia, rather, I should say. There's two Mattias today in 928s. There's Piet Mattia in the classic cars. And I see the Toyota of Jaco Oosthuizen has joined the field. And as well as Joanne Farid. Both those two missed the race last time around. I see coming to the end of pit lane now, it is Jaco Lambert. So we'll have to see if he joins the field as they move off of the grid. They move off the grid now, Frankie, and I'm just going to see now, I see a marshal is gesturing to Jaco Lambert. It's on our timing screens as Jaco. I know the program shows it slightly differently, but he could be a pit lane starter, I think. And I think he's going to have to wait there until the lights go out and the marshal lets him go on the first lap.
Right, so the Supercars are busy making their way through the kink behind the Renault Triber. Busy making their way towards turn number 3, towards Interceptor Corner. And it's a decent size group of supercars out there. I'd love to see 12, 14 supercars back out on track again. But for now, we've got a fair amount. We've got about 6, 7 of them out on track, which is a decent starting platform for the supercar fraternity to rebuild as they make their way through turn number 4 behind the Renault Triber. And then that group of Bejo Trustee fine cars follow suit through Sarl Sweep.
Yeah, they go down the back straight now, Frankie. As you mentioned, that Renault taking them around. I actually saw Phil Herold earlier on. He was going over the bridge and gave him a wave, but I won't be able to tell you at the moment who is driving that safety car, but that is not important at this time, as the cars weave down the back straight, the supercars, and then the fine cars that follow suit. So the de facto pole man in that class will be Gunther Appelgrein in that number 13 E36 BMW. He's known as Spider-Man. He's one of the, and that's from karate days for him, because he's quite a distinguished karate practitioner. So they go down the back straight now. Frankie, the Renault's going to pull into the pits. Let's take them away.
Yeah, we take them away as Lambert will be dying to get going, as he's standing here in pit lane. And what the folks at home cannot see, a helicopter just flew past the commentary box window as the safety car has pulled off. And the red lights in pit lane are on, and we're about to go racing with the Kaltron supercars and Bejo Trustee fine cars. Here come the supercars, the lights go off. Now they drop the hammers, and away they go. They are side by side. Philip sits there on the outside of Moffat. They nearly 2 by 2. Michael now is diving around the outside, and it is going to be Phillips that gets the whole shot out of turn 1 with the Moffat there in second, Darmon in third, and here come the fine cars.
Fine cars, away we go, and it looks like just poking the nose ahead will be Robert Toscano that goes into turn 1, taking the whole shot at the moment. Gunther Appelgrein in second. It's Koenraad Mattia in the Porsche in third. Then it's going to be Jaco Oosthuizen in the Toyota in fourth. Tischendorf and Roger Lewis will follow suit onto the Joubert Straight.
Working their way now out of Interceptor Corner. Turn 3 are your supercars. Heading up the Tygerberg Straight towards turn number 4. Working their way through turn 4, it is Phillips that sits out there in P1. Glenn Phillips making his way down the back main with Andrew Moffat there in that second position, followed there by Yassine Damon. Then it's Carl Halleck. Behind Carl Halleck is Michael Nell. Behind him, we've got Craig Hume, followed there by Karel van der Merwe, as the Supercars race down towards Fostron Corner, turn 5.
Well, we're going to turn 4 now, where the Bejo Trustees fine cars will be making their way through Sarel Sweep now. Watch them as they go. It's Toscano in the Mazda from the BMW E36 of Gunther Appelgren. Then the Porsche of number 3, it is Mattia. Now under pressure is that Toyota, though, of Jaco Oosthuizen, as Natasha Tischendorf will go side by side down the straight and will have the inside line for turn 5.
Racing down towards turn number 1. Have a look at these Supercars. And now Daman is right there with the 2 leaders, but he goes into turn 1 very hot, and he will lose a lot of ground. He's still there in that 3rd position, is Yassine Daman. But right behind him now, we've got Nell that sits there on the outside of Halleck, and the 2 of them are busy catching up to him as they work their way through turn number 2. That's a 5-way fight there as the Supercars work their way through the kink and towards Interceptor Corner.
Yellow flags are waving in turn 2, Frankie. I was just told by Tiny over here that Jaco Lambert went off the circuit with a puff of smoke. So he's out of the race, pit lane starter. And also as well, Jaco Oosthuizen in his Toyota is smoking. The marshals and officials have noted that is occurring.
Watching the fine cars around the track, but here comes the Supercars. Down the back straight they go. Racing towards turn number 5, towards Fostron Corner. And it's now a 3 for, well, any one of these drivers could win this one, but the fight is on here between Moffat and Phillips, and it's Moffat that gets his nose ahead on the exit of Fostron Corner. Out of turn 5, Fostron, Moffat gets his nose up into P1. Coming right back at Andrew Moffat again is Glenn Phillips. Right on his skates under the bridge is Yassine Damon. And right there with him as well, he's the number 12 of Michael Nell. Those are the 4 cars. They are side by side. Have a look at this for nothing. Down into turn 1 they go. Surely this is going to hopefully not end up in tears as they race out of turn 1, working their way down towards turn 2.
Well, the fine cars are coming through turn 5, Pertamina Fastron, Frankie, and they're going to gun it to the line now, as underneath the City of Cape Town bridge there will come Wingfield Motors, also in partnership with Killarney. They go down the back, the main straight now. On the outside will be Gunther Appelgren, and he will break earlier than the Mazda and will slot still into 2nd position as the former champion leads into turn 1, and then Mattia will start closing up the gap surely behind.
But into turn number 4, it's a 4-way supercar train making its way through turn number 4. The double right-hander, Sarel van der Merwe sweep, or just known as Sarel sweep. Down the back lane they go. It is Glenn Phillips from Andrew Moffat, from Michael Nell, from Yassine Damon. Not too far behind them is a Carl Halleck as they race down towards turn number 5. Into Fostron Corner they go, and Michael Nell is a man on the move and diving up on the inside once again. They're side by side. They are side by side, and once again Moffat gets his nose ahead there of Phillips. So watch out for Nell. Michael Nell could hit the lead. No, he sits there in 2nd, right next to Glenn Phillips, and right on their case under the bridge is Yassine Damon. It's a hell of a fight in the Supercars heading into turn number 1, and once again now Phillips goes up on the inside. He's going to get through. Man, no. But watch out for Nell. Nell sits on the outside of Phillips. This is brilliant stuff by the Supercars as they work their way towards turn 2.
And just a note, Craig Hume, Frankie, has pulled into the pit lane as well. So issues over there. Meanwhile, the turn 5, I'm just going to look at the what is the 3rd place battle in the fine car section. Onto the inside of Jaco Oosthuizen in turn 5, Pertamina Fastron, is the Jetta of Natasha Tischendorf. Will she make her way past, or will the Toyota just poke the nose ahead? You'll have the inside line for the kink, and Natasha Tischendorf has made up a place. She's now up into 4th place, Kuni Mattia is in 3rd place at the moment, with Toscano still leading from Gunther Appelgren, and 0.2 of a second between the 2 of them.
Down the back straight goes your Supercars. They're going to pick up Roger Lewis in that motor car. He's at the back of the fine cars. These 4 cars are going to bomb past him. He's going to wonder, where the heck did you guys come from? As the blue flags come out there for him, he keeps right out the way into turn number 5. Into Fostron Corner they go. Man, this is great stuff. I haven't seen supercar action like this in a hell of a long time. And we might have a new leader. We do. It's Michael Nell. Michael Nell has got his nose up front as they race towards turn 1. Moffat second, Phillips third. Damon in P4, and nothing between the four of them as they work their way out of turn 1. Left-hander holds hook.
Onto the back straight though. It's in the slipstream for Gunther Appelgren. He's going to make a move. He goes to the outside on the back straight towards turn 5. Pertamina Fastron, and the BMW will not get past that Mazda of Toscano. Toscano will just keep it ahead for now. 0.2 of a second as they cross the line the last time. This is nose to tail stuff. 4 laps left to go for the fine cars when they close onto this end of the lap. And here they go again. It is Toscano on the main straight, side by side with Gunther Appelgren. Gunther Appelgren will go ahead. So Gunther putting in a good move over there, and then he goes defensive for turn 1.
Look at this fine cars do their thing, but look at the supercars doing their thing as well. They're making their way out of turn number 4. Down the back main they go, and we've lost somebody. We have lost Moffat. Moffat is gone. There's a lot of dust behind the clubhouse. You cannot see it from here, but Andrew Moffat, he's gone. He's in turn 4. He's gone. And that's the end of that for the 39 car of Andrew Moffat, as the rest of them work their way out of Pertamina Fastron, out of turn number 5. And Damon is right there behind Phillips, and they're fighting for second and third because Michael Nell is the man up front that's leading this group of 3 cars into turn number 1, and it's a pity we lost Andrew Moffat there in turn 4 in saddle sweep.
Well, talking about saddle sweep, here come the Bejo Trustees fine cars through our section now. And, oh, Frankie, I see there's a spinner on turn 1, one of the supercars. I'll get back to you now on that one. But meanwhile, down the back straight, Toscano still leads into turn 5 from Gunther Appelgren.
Yeah, it looks like they are in trouble out there. The supercar guys are going very well. I think it could have been Carl Halleck.
That's Darman, I think.
Spun. Now, Halleck is heading towards turn 2. Yes, it is a number 10 car. Yasin Darman, I can see the car standing here. The marshals are walking towards it. Definitely the number 10 of Darman. He's on the exit of turn 1 on the outside as the fine cars are now making their way into turn 1. The supercars are going down the back main, but it's been relegated from a 4-way fight to a 2-way fight into turn number 5. Michael Nell and Glenn Phillips.
Well, onto the Joubert straight now towards turn 2. Robert Toscano still heads the BMW of Appelgren ahead. Appelgren will close up as they come into the corner. Koenraad Mathieu looks to be closing up the gap to them as well, but he's going very slowly out of turn 2. I thought I might have seen a puff of smoke there, but I might just be seeing things as they go through turn 3 now. Remember, the last time around it was going to be 0.2, almost 0.3 of a second between the top 2 in the fine cars, but they'll go through turn 4 now and open up onto the back straight.
Well, the quickest drive out there for the supercars is the man that sits in P1, Glenn Phillips, a 127.460. And Glenn and Michael Nell are working their way through turn number 2. Well, they've lost 2 of them. We've lost Moffat, then we lost Darman afterwards. And it's only these 2 now that's working their way into turn number 3. Third place in that class is Carl Halleck. And he's making his way now towards turn 2. And here comes Karel van der Merwe. Karel van der Merwe, both cars in turn number 2. And van der Merwe is now closing on Carl Halleck as they work their way through the kink towards turn 3 interceptor.
2 laps left to go, Frankie, so it's almost the now or never lap here as the fine cars cross the line. It is still Toscano from Appelgren, and then Mathieu will come through in that 3rd position. That's going to be Roger Lewis in the MGA that has been lapped. 4th place in class will be Natasha Tischendorf in the Jetta, and then of course a 5th coming over here as well, Jaco Oosthuizen in the Conquest. Meanwhile, if you look now around as we do run, it's still going to be the 2 that were remaining at the front. Gunther Appelgren still pursuing very hard within 0.3 of a second of that man in front of him.
Well, the leading cars are starting the final lap. Into turn number 1 they go. And that is Glenn Phillips and Michael Nell. They're going to pick up the conquest of Jaco Oosthuizen. He keeps right out the way there going into turn number 2. And it's all over, she wrote, as a matter of fact, because there's no ways that Nell as they work their way out of turn 2, can catch up to Glenn Phillips at this point in time, or maneuver himself past the Wistays and Conquest. But with a half a lap to go, that's the best that he can do. However, heading towards turn 2 now, Kyle Halleck is under serious attack here from Karel van der Merwe. So that is a fight for third position in the Supercars heading out of turn 2, and Halleck on the last lap is battling and really trying and giving it all to keep van der Merwe behind him.
12 entries still left in this race. Roger Lewis will round them off. Meanwhile, Johan Fourie will also be in that particular section, 10th overall as far as things are concerned. This is the last lap of the race. Toscano still leads from the Gunther Appelgren's actually ahead now, then Toscano, and then Kuni Mattia.
Yeah, but Toscano went pretty wide there, so that fight is still very much on. So we're waiting for the checkered flag to come out. The flag is out. And coming towards the line now is Glenn Phillips. Glenn comes home in P1. Michael Nell finishes behind him in that second position. Now into turn 5, into Fastron. There's contact between van der Merwe and Halleck. And they both go off the circuit now. Who's going to get back onto the track before the other one and get that third position? One of them has to get onto the circuit. Here they come. And they're both on the track. They're both on the track. Van der Merwe is ahead of Halleck at this point in time. Can you believe it? They are nearly side by side, and it's Karel van der Merwe that comes home across the line, just ahead there of Kyle Halleck. Drama on the last lap for the Supercars in the final corner.
Well, talking about final corners, these two are going to be running up to the final corner. It is Toscano on the inside. On the outside, it is Appelgren. They make their way through. They've got a back marker ahead of him. That is Johan Fourie. And they'll run it down to the line now to the Wingfield Motors and City of Cape Town Bridge. Look at this. They're banging doors basically almost. And it's going to be a photo finish basically, as it's going to be Gunther Appelgren that will take the win here. And I know he'll be absolutely pleased with that. Ahead of Toscano, Kuni Mattia, Johan Fourie finishes a lap down. We wait now for Roger Lewis. We wait for Natasha Tischendorf, who will get 4th in class. Wonderful stuff here. Here comes the Jetta now. 4th in class for Natasha Tischendorf. And crosses the line here. 8th overall. And then Roger Lewis, who's always here, always campaigning, and always finishing. I can tell you that much. Wow, Frankie. I almost thought we were going to get ourselves a Talladega Nights type of finish over here. with the Supercars. I thought they're going to have to get out of their cars and start running.
Well, yeah, brilliant stuff. I will say that for nothing. And I've got to salute the Supercar Brigade. They really gave us 2 exciting races in the Kaltron Formula Supercars.